Good afternoon from Prague. I am Martina Pecková-Černá, and I am greeting you from the Arts and Theatre Institute. It is our pleasure to welcome you to the Green Thursday series of international online discussions with Czech and foreign guests from the field of performing arts. We are here every fourth Thursday at the same time, 3 p.m. Central European Time, with diverse moderators and guests ranging from dance and theater artists to curators, culture managers, and theorists.
The overall topic, "The show must go on, offline," was chosen so that we can address the common theme of sustainability and the performing arts from many perspectives. These include the response of the performing arts to the state of the environment and the COVID pandemic, as well as the field's emerging strategies to address urgent social changes and paradigm shifts in culture and in our societies. These discussions are organised by the International Cooperation Department and in collaboration with the European projects Create to Connect, Create to Impact, and the Central European Performing Arts Network, PACE V4. They also correspond with the Arts and Theatre Institutes, Culture and the Climate activities, which serve as a communication platform for public and independent cultural organizations in the Czech Republic on global environmental challenges. We are available online on the Zoom platform right now, and later you can find our recordings on our YouTube channel. You, our spectators, will have the opportunity to ask our guests questions during the live meeting. Please feel free to use the Q&A section in your Zoom application.
Let me welcome you in our webinar, which is called Healing with or Healing Theater. And today we will be talking about healing theater, about healing by theater. And my name is Martin Sedláček, and I have the pleasure today to meet meet my four speakers. So I will briefly introduce all of them, and then I will leave them to introduce themselves and their work. So today with me is Ilona Labutová from Czech Republic. Ilona is a pedagogist working with kids with special needs, and also drama therapist and a founding member of Association of Drama Therapists of Czech Republic. Hello, Ilona, just if you can wave. Yes, thank you. Then from Poland is Anna Shepard. Anna is a therapist, coach, and a member of the free psychological support team for theater artists, and this service is offered by the Rajewski Theatre Institute in Warsaw. Hello, Anna. Welcome. Then is here with us Zsuzsa Hajós from Hungary. Zsuzsa is a founder and member of Round Table Community Theatre, which is focusing on work with young people, and also is providing mentoring in education through art. Hello, Zsuzsa. Welcome here. And last but not least is the second man with us here, and is from Italy, Fabio Toledi. hello, Fabio. Fabio is a theater director and playwright, member of the Astragali Theater and International Theater Institute, where he's also member of executive board and the Theater in Conflict Zones Committee. Welcome again, Fabio. So this was a very brief introduction from my side, and now I would like to leave space for our speakers to introduce themselves and also briefly their work. So we will start in order of introduction. So Ilona, it's all yours now.
Thank you very much. First of all, I thank you very much for the invitation that I could join you. Thank you, and for this very interesting theme subject. So what I do, as you said, I am an educated drama therapist with British training of drama therapy, which I do for my work, but I also founded with a colleague of mine a theater group called Ueto, with people where our artists are people with learning disabilities. So we have 5 actors with whom we work for the last 12 years, and we work not therapeutically, but we do the proper theater work with them. So I am looking on this issue from both sides, from the therapeutical side, but also from the artistic side of doing or not doing during COVID theater. So I would like afterwards introduce a little bit more this group, this theater group I work with. And yes, and I also do a lot of work in production, theater production. So all the field about theater is something I am involved in, and I like it very much. So
Thank you, Ilona. Thank you for your introduction. We are looking for your experiences. Thank you. And now I leave the place for Anna.
Hello, and thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very much looking forward to this discussion, and my experience in supporting artists in general has continued for the last probably a decade, because of the fact that I'm myself very much using art as source and method of healing. I was always interested in how I can bring my expertise and knowledge towards the artist. And since theater has remained one of my favorite art forms, I'm also glad to be able to give back. I've been involved in various programs dedicated, as I said, to artists. One of them is a group program of development for female artists, and this has continued for 4 years right now. I've had experience of co-creating also a coaching, mentoring support program called Artists in Crisis, which and these were both developed before COVID, but it turned out that throughout the COVID experience, actually situations where we can bring artists, creators, theater people together, and they can have the chance to exchange their experience, learn both some tools, but also receive psychological support. This has turned out really, really important, and we were wondering how we can transfer this experience of working offline in real groups into online. But as we are all learning, we've also learned. And then finally, at the beginning of the year, Rashevsky Theater Institute, which I had the honor of cooperating with, invited me to become a team member for their specialist program dedicated to supporting people related to theater during the COVID pandemic. So right now, we've been, I think it's been, yeah, like 5 months of this program ongoing at this point. So we've had 2 meetings with the team already in Poland, trying to catch up with the conclusions and think of how to move it forward. So I hope I'm gonna be able to bring some of this expertise and some of this experience into our discussion. Yes, thank you.
Thank you too. We are looking forward to it. Thank you very much. And now, Zsuzsa, it's yours.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm Zsuzsa and I'm working for Roundtable Theatre in Education company in Budapest, which is the capital of Hungary. This was the very first theatre in education company in Central Europe. I don't know whether you are familiar with theatre in education as a genre or not, but I tell you something about it. Theatre in education means that we create theatre pieces with gaps in them, in which the participants, I mean mostly youngsters, can put their thoughts and ideas about the given topic, which means that they participate in a process which is really creative and always about social problems, different kind of social problems. And it's really unique because for them, because in the Hungarian education system is very rare to give an opportunity to talk or think about social problems. And we do it through theatre work. So that's our main profession. And the lockdown was really struggling for us because schools was closed as well. And there were many, actually we work with whole classes, and many classes just haven't met yet, because of the situation. So it was really struggling. And on the other hand, we had problems with online programs as well, because kids were online all the time, and it was not a special occasion for them to do a theater program, or if it is a theater program online. So it was our main problem during this lockdown situation, but I think I can jump in details later on.
Thank you very much, Zsuzsa. Thank you very much. And now I would like to ask Fabio also to introduce himself.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and I would like to share your experiences and mine too. Like you have said during the presentation, I am a director. I work in South Italy in a very interesting experience with theater for community in some small places, and also in places connected and that suffer the presence of organized crime, working also with prisoners, and on the other side with migrants and refugees too. And as you said, also I am Vice President for Europe of the International Theatre Institute of UNESCO. And also we have worked a lot to share the experience all over the world in this period of pandemic situation. And for this reason, we have collected a lot of experience all over the world, because pandemic is continuing to hit all the community of performing arts, especially in India, for example, or in Brazil too, or in other countries is not very comfortable the situation. And also we worked a lot, and also to share these different experiences and different situations too. And also, as you said, I work inside the International Theatre Institute in the network of theatre in conflict zones. And it's very clear that some fragile women and men are shooted by the condition of pandemic. As you can imagine, for example, in the situation of Palestinian theater in this moment, suffering the conflict between Israeli and Palestinian women and men. There are a lot of problems, very important, and not only with the pandemic, because some topics are overcome by the situation of the crisis of emergency. And I would like to speak about this very delicate situation that we are fronting in this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabio. Thank you very much, and we are looking forward also for your insights. So, my first question is: we all probably experienced, or everyone experienced, some tremendous changes when COVID came and when lockdown starts. And my first question is how it has changed the way you work. What this situation meant for you personally, and how did you need to adapt, or what you guys need to change in order to continue your work, or maybe save it even, because what we do is sometimes called live art, because it's alive, like dance, performance art, and theater is live art. But now it was dead, or put into artificial sleep, let's say, because we couldn't meet audience, we couldn't meet our clients, or even the theater groups at some points couldn't meet with each other. So it was very difficult to work. So again, what were you doing? How did this fact has changed your work? Who wants to start?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Julia.
So as I mentioned, we are working with kids, and they were on online education this time. So you know, we had to decide what to choose to do, and we are a participatory or interactive theater. So you know, it's not just one decision, it's minimum two decisions, you know, because you have to decide whether you make a film from your theater pieces, or streaming it lively, or you know, it was one decision. And the second decision was how to interact with kids, because you know, it's necessary in our work. So we decided to make films from our pieces, and it took one period of the lockdown. So you know, in the first period of the lockdown, we just made films from theater pieces, and we planned the interaction through via Zoom or Skype, or we decided to use Zoom, and that's why we in the second period of the lockdown we could give our programs to the classes, and it worked, you know, but it wasn't the same when you just meet them. I mean that, you know, for example, my main strength is that I can really sense or feel the kids' opinions and behavior. I mean the behind behavior, so the whys, and it's really hard through this kind of computer devices. So it wasn't so clear for me what they are thinking during the programs, you know. So that was the main problem of us, and the other thing is that you know, when we work offline, it's a kind of celebration then to go to the theater, and it's the completely opposite, that you know, after a math class or a math lesson and before an English lesson, they just joined us via Zoom and started working together. So it was hard for us, but I think we could solve it relatively normally, or you know, this was our process during the lockdown.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it's very important that our main tool was also computer, but it was a main tool for everyone, for every subject, and it was very challenging to get kids back to computer with even with such interesting project as yours. How did you motivate them? What do you do to get them to the program?
So it wasn't easy, but you know, our main tool of motivation is our really good questions, and you know, if you are involved intellectually and emotionally as well, and you just get a great question or a thought-provoking question, you will participate, I think. But it was much difficult, much more difficult via Zoom than offline, of course.
Thank you very much. I really like this good question thing, and yeah, thank you very much. And
I can say something.
yeah,
Uh, at first, it's not easy to speak for me because I lost my mother 2 weeks ago for COVID. And also, I am very involved in this discussion.
so sorry to hear it, Fabio.
Of course, but also I think that we are the women and men of performing arts are lucky because we have our work to express our attitude, love, and feeling generally. And also is another aspect very important. Generally, we have to consider the different level of this issue because it's very different. Also, for example, our example is an opportunity that we have, and also with all the meetings that I have organized all over the world in these last 6 months, was very important to be connected through the teleconferences with many different experiences, and also we have developed an opportunity in this way, very important for all the community of performing arts. In the other hand, it's very important to return in the presence to share with the audience the experience of the theater because we we live in the sharing of experience. There is no there is no a wall between audience and actors and actresses and all the technicians. It's a community that we work in presence, and also we have to relaunch this dimension. For example, in the last summer, when in Italy we have reopened the open space for the performing arts, I have found a very strong participation of the people that arrived at theater with the need to stay together, with the need to be in presence together. And also It's the same topic also I teach at university. It's very clear that the lack of the contact with the students is a very terrible aspect that we have to overcome. But also we have to consider this opportunity. Now, today we have an experience from Hungary, from Poland, from Czech Republic, from Italy, and also we have no expenses to organize this. Generally, we have to our disposal an economical budget to organize this meeting, but also now this is a instrument of daily life. We can connect together and we can share experience. Of course, we have to develop the quality of the presence of the people, also between the artists. We have to relaunch this dimension, the sensibility. I am vaccinated in this moment, and also I can start to travel again. And this is another aspect very important for the performing arts. It's very important to be able to travel. Also for my theater, Astragali Teatro, work mainly abroad, work mainly in the international production. And also we have to restart to rebuild this connection. Also, these are aspects very important, but also in the same way, I'm sure that the artist community and the community of audiences, the general community, has developed other skills connected with the web. And also, of course, the digital divide is another aspect very important that we have to front, and also is a very important challenge, mainly in the countries with more difficulties. I think in this moment in some countries in Africa that we work in, we have worked in Burkina Faso, in Ivory Coast, and we want to launch other activities in other places in African countries. It's very important that the digital divide is another aspect very essential in this new context that we are working. But also, this is another opportunity that we have to develop in sharing opportunities for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Anna is raising hand.
Yes, I was trying to use this device and it seems to be working. What I wanted to talk about, kind of in relation to what Zsuzsa was talking about previously with relationship to children. The issue that I wanted to touch upon that has affected my work a lot, I would call it overlapping spaces. Mm-hmm. A lot of my work, or the majority of my work, is workshops, consultations, which when they were taking place previously before the COVID era, they had some special dedicated space to it. Mm-hmm. So people were gathering and could dedicate this space and time and kind of step out of their usual normal lives to devote their time and attention to it. And I do agree to what also Fabio mentioned, the fact that a lot of the digital space has offered a tremendous amount of new opportunities. However, at the same time, these overlapping spaces did present an additional challenge, especially when I think about, I think this is also a gendered thing, childcare. The majority, or a huge group of people I regularly work with are women. Many of them were left with their artists, non-artists, but yeah, artists, theater artists, not only them, were left at home and having to juggle their commitments, their workshops, online meetings and conferences with, homeschooling and children and education. And I found that tremendously altering the spaces that we were creating. And especially in these all-female groups, that when we were talking about things, many of them actually were less dedicated to the professional artistic area, but they became much more private, much more home related, much more psychological support of how to survive, a day or a week with your family in one location. Many of the artists I found myself with during COVID were previously in a completely different life, traveling, meeting people, used to their autonomy and being very feeling this is a very fulfilling thing for them. All of a sudden, they land in a completely different reality, and they need to manage it. And this is something that I discovered and I was struggling with a lot. Obviously, this opened up a new, again, whenever there are challenges, there are also new interesting fields. I mean, I got to know the interiors of my clients and partners' houses. You know, I got to have sessions with them in their bathrooms sometimes, because that was the only space that was available. So, and a range of topics. I got to know their pets and their spouses and the noises that they have to deal with. So that also created a new level of connection, a different one, and that opened up a new space and new topics also for conversations. So this is what I just wanted to throw into the conversation.
Thank you.
Can I? Yeah.
Yes, yes, Ilona.
Yeah.
Ilona.
I wanted to say, for me, it was very interesting because, as I said, we work with artists with learning disabilities. And when it happened and we were closed and we stayed at home and we didn't know what's going on and what will happen. So I was, even myself, I was completely confused and I didn't know what will happen next week. And actually, we were with my colleagues in Belgium for a big, huge, like European project focused on theater, and they just closed it after 3 days because they said you have to go back home because now COVID starts and you have to go immediately home. So we straight from the airport, we went home and we locked us down, and that was it. And so, but was very interesting because I was all the time feeling for our actors, because of course they have some disabilities and they have their own like health issues and they are using some medicaments and whatever. So I was thinking about them a lot, that how to manage, how to see each other again, if we can one day meet again, even during this period of time, and to rehearse in the theater or not. So, and I was the one who was trying to maybe wait, because we cannot ask them to go somewhere, because why they don't use any, they don't have computers, they don't use any kind of this kind of devices. So they need this personal contact. And I even didn't want to push them to travel by public transport, because it was, everything looked that it's disaster and we cannot use it. But they were the ones who pushed us. No, we need it. And we want to be together. We need to feel that something still, it's a little bit normal. So actually, I have to say it was amazing to me to see, because even we, with my colleague, who is a psychologist and also drama therapist, and he does theater for 25 years. So we were discussing it all the time. Even we together couldn't find what is the right thing, how to do that. But they said, no, but we want to meet. We need to feel that the world is still going around and it's still continuing, and we will not stuck at home for the rest of our lives. So finally, I have to say that our actors were the ones who pushed us to stay in touch. So the first 3 months was just, we were just calling each other on mobile phones because we couldn't reach them like through Zoom or whatever. But then as soon as it was possible in summer, last summer, in July, we had this personal meeting. As we go every year for the last 7 years, for 1 week, we go and we have this theater, like summer school for us, and we did it. Even we didn't, usually we rehearse a new performance, and we didn't do that because it was more about to bring the things a little bit into the normal, to be together, to just enjoy that we can do something, we can feel each other again, and we will know that we are together. So it was very interesting to me. We were much more afraid of them than they themselves. They needed the company, so which was good. So since September we started rehearse again. Even, and we will speak about it later, it's very difficult without audience, because again we are not the group for Zoom Zoom performances. We need the live audience and live contact. So but at least we can come together again and rehearse. Even we cannot, or till last week we couldn't show it to anyone, and we had no public, like an audience, but it was very interesting to me. And I have to say that for me, for myself, that the first half a year was very, it closed down everything, because the time I was not in the therapeutic field, but in the culture field. So I did everything for the culture, and it stopped everything. So myself, I was also waiting what will happen. And yeah, it started to change after September. So.
Thank you very much, Ilona. It was really like in your story. There's two things for me to be shown. The one was that literally the COVID made us to come back from the world. We were the whole world. We were traveling across the countries and working internationally, and just by like it, we were put back into our kitchen and bathrooms and flats. And it's a big change, because it's like shrink of everything, but also then we are forced to stay with what is inside us, which is interesting experience. And the second one, and it was very touching for me, what you have said is that as your actors demanded for you to continue the work, it shows how powerful theater is. It shows how important for them it is, what really internal needs it provides for them, and how it is helping. It's the best proof what you have just said. Thank you for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Could I just make just an additional comment, because when I was listening to you, Ilona, it just reminded me also of a series of meetings that I had with some theater directors related to this topic of meeting live as the actors were requesting it, or as some schedules were allowing this, because we did have, in Poland, probably like in your countries, there was the first lockdown, then the defrosting, then another lockdown, and different waves, and especially towards the end of this recent third wave, as it was titled and entitled in Poland. Different groups wanted to start to come together, but there was a distinctive difference in how they were dealing with the anxiety and the fear, because obviously there were completely different levels of fear related to, how do we keep the distance? How do we wear masks? Who wants to be vaccinated? In Poland, we have this big issue of a significant group of people being very distrustful towards the vaccination. So this evoked a huge amount of additional work for actors, for directors, for people who were not only in charge anymore for the artistic aspect of the performance or the getting together, but actually organizing it, facilitating conflicts, because many different conflicts emerged between members of teams, for example, actors who there were For example, one of them might have been very scared and have lost someone to the disease, and someone else feeling completely easygoing about it, and how to connect, how to combine that, and how to manage these conflicts and proceed with the artistic work. And I observed that a lot, and I observed how various team members, team leaders were completely exhausted by it, and how they were struggling with handling the fear and differences, and how to and creating a respectful space for everybody, where both fear of meeting and willingness to be together could be maintained and respected.
Thank you. Thank you. The fear is also very important, and not only the fear, but what you mentioned, that different approach towards the COVID and different experience with it really made conflicts inside teams, and also inside families, and so on, because it is. It was not unified how we approach it. Sometimes it's very different, and yeah, we need to handle that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I agree with it, because we also had to deal with the fear, but I have to say that it was the fear of the relatives of our actors. They are all adults. They are like, they make them decisions themselves, and sometimes their closest relatives, they were afraid to let them go, because sometimes they, even one of our actor, he really lives 40 kilometers out of Prague, so he had to travel by train and by bus, and then another, and tram, and another public transport. But he was the one who said, yes, but I need it for my like psycho healing. I need to go to. So he was the one who actually had to discuss it within the family. What is the most important to them? And it wasn't always like that. Sometimes we also had to cancel rehearsal. Someone was ill or whatever, but still the like the need of being together and doing something normal as they did before COVID, it was very intensive team during this period of time. Even I have to say that one of our colleague also she was sick for a very long time, and she said, I cannot continue. So actually we had to also find another colleague who can dance in our performance, because we didn't see her for almost a year, because she also deals with health issues. So it's exactly as you said, it's always, we have to balance it somehow.
Thank you. You, every one of you, in his own way, were in contact with artists during this period. And as Fabio said, theater is also just brings us together and allows us to share emotions, share experiences. But in this time, if it was not possible, maybe it was very difficult. But so, what do you think from your experience that artists, what support artists needed in this time? What if we maybe would give our governments some recommendation how to support our artists? What would help to provide in this time? What would you suggest?
I don't know what I would suggest, but what I saw at the beginning, it was last autumn, I saw that the people were, as Anna said, they were really dealing with that they didn't know what will happen next day and if they will have enough money to buy bread and butter and to feed their families. Because a lot of my colleagues, they are, for example, singers, and from one day to the other, it was lockdown for singers and they couldn't sing for a couple of months, and suddenly they lost everything and they had to wait for a very long time to get some like financial support from the government. So, and they really didn't know what they will do, and I could feel that all the art should it disappear suddenly because they were really dealing just what how they will survive and how they will manage the just the basic stuff for their families and their kids needed new shoes and they didn't know if they can manage the shoes and they can buy them. So I think that they were left for very long time in Czech Republic without knowing what will going to happen, if they will get any support or any financial support. And it was really, I think, very, very difficult time. And that time I saw people, they stopped thinking I was a violinist or I was a singer, and now I really need to supply goods in a supermarket or whatever, just to do anything to make some money and to survive. So, and I still have the feeling that culture in Czech Republic is really somewhere far away.
Yes, and in addition to that, uncertainty is really the main thing, which caused a huge problem for everyone, I think. And it's not just in the financial term. I mean, it's psychologically, or you know, it was really, and I think it is now a day as well. So you just don't know how to rehearse next day or give a performance and where, and it's I think it's really exhausting in a way. Yeah.
Thank you, Shusha.
I think also I think that it's not easy to answer because there are very different experiences on this. For example, here in my city in South Italy, we have tried to develop a level of support for some artists, also giving some news. For example, was closed the activities for the audience, but was possible to continue to work inside the theater to prepare something. And also was not clear this, and we have supported a lot because also was very important to give the opportunities to all the people to continue to develop the artistic work. Of course, there were a lot of material life for many people, but also was very important to give some answer connected with the artistic existence of the people too. And also because the terrible alternative is to stop everything, to lock down everything, and was not good this. And also the other challenge to organize the streaming of the performances was another opportunity because we have fronted and was very important to organize themselves to do some performances on streaming. That we need another professional approach to this aspect, and also working in and we have in January we have started to work in the closer to the people theater, but transmitting online our performance. This was an aspect very important in which the ministry and the regional support activities were possible, and also was an opportunity. Not enough, of course, with the dimension of the crisis, but also was an opportunity that has created another aspect that we have to develop more, and also to front the digital divide, for example, in performing arts and also in the educational part, is something in which we are called to organize ourselves to give another opportunity to work on this field, because for many other reasons we were not very prepared to do this aspect of work. And also it's very clear that if we will have another crisis of another virus with another variant of the virus that we are listening all over the world, what we can do to overcome. Also, this is the first aspect. The other one is connected. I wonder if what is the situation during for many other countries during conflict, also during the World War. What is the situation of the performers in that period? What happened in the system of the artists? I would like to overcome a rhetoric of the communication connected of the absolute new situation of crisis. I think that generally performing arts has fronted different difficulties and continue to do this. And also the first answer is to organize ourselves to share news, opportunities, and other things to work together and to open opportunities to the larger number of people, of artists that are involved in this situation. Thanks.
Yeah, and I think everyone have lost their general communities, which is a real problem. I think that you are alone in your houses, and you can't do your work or can't do your general job, and you can't relate or communicate with your colleagues or with your classmates as a kid, or it's. I think it could cause a mental problem as well. So we can help this kind of problems.
My experience of getting in touch with the artists and being in touch with them throughout the pandemic has revealed even more vividly what the artists are experiencing in their regular, like especially performing artists, in fact, the precariousness of their employment, the precarious nature of the state support. And this condition was only emphasized by COVID. And I did get in touch with some singers, dancers, performers who basically almost overnight just had to just find some kind of a regular job, which they hated, but which was indispensable. And then it made them question actually significantly their professional choices. It made them very bitter. Because in Poland, a lot of artists in the first couple of months were left without significant state support. And with the actors, those of them who were let's say fortunate enough to be employed in film or in more commercial undertakings, they were fine. And there were actually, so there were divisions within the community, especially when it comes to artists, also between those who had a stable job at the theater and those who were just doing projects. And that was the ones who were managing it project by project became particularly bitter. And those who had their stable jobs were feeling not okay, because they thought, okay, we're not rehearsing, we're doing maybe rehearsal, we're not performing, but we're still getting paid. This is unfair. So I also observed a lot of that. At some point, the Polish government came up with this special fund dedicated to artists for different types of online and digital undertakings. So people were invited and encouraged to start off with some specific online projects that were then funded. This was not very huge, but to some artists I spoke to, it helped them make ends meet and still stay within the artistic kind of job, because those artists I spoke to and I was in touch with who were forced to drop their careers, this was a painful experience, added to the uncertainty of the situation, fear related to the disease, also being deprived of this artistic produce and being involved in the process was an additional blow. And with respect to the state-funded programs, I will just say a few words about the program of the Raszewski Theater Institute in Warsaw. So this idea of introducing psychological support was also state-funded. And it turned out that the demand for this was huge. Within this project, we are only able to offer a very limited number of meetings. It's like 3 online meetings, consultations per person. However, from what we're receiving, the feedback that we're receiving from the participants, because it's already being, I think, a number of similar, around 100 people so far, if I'm not mistaken, we are receiving feedback that this is in fact somewhat helpful. Obviously, this is on top of the support when it comes to basic financial needs. I mean, psychological support is not going to suffice here, but it did turn out, and we are receiving feedback that artists who are involved in this program, even in this small scale, are considering it useful, and especially those of them who are unable to afford any kind of paid psychological support, and all the state-supported systems are overloaded. The fact that there has been a fund dedicated to people who are related to theater, they said that this was somehow also psychologically somewhat hopeful for them. Okay, saying that we matter to the state in some way, at least that they can offer and launch this program that is dedicated to us. This was something that they were mentioning as useful. Right now, we're probably going to be coming to an end of this part of the project, but what we're thinking about as of autumn and already planning for it is a series of workshops connected with the new skills that could be acquired by artists, the topics and the soft skills and hard skills that they are already mentioning as maybe deficient for them having this COVID experience. So we don't want to stop this program at this point. I mean, that was more like crisis intervention, but right now, I mean, the crisis looks like it might be temporarily over, but we're looking for how we could make the next step and how we could respond to the needs, and in a more, also in a systemic way, but also differently to what we've already tried.
Thank you. Thank you. I really feel that what happened was that into the society came suddenly like a significant or a huge amount of fear, and it was the fear of like very basic nature, maybe. Will I survive? Will I survive physically? Will I survive economically? And in this state of mind, aesthetical needs are easily forgotten, which was also, and this this kind of fear is probably very, and I have to agree with Fabio. It's very similar to fear when we are in a conflict or in COVID. That's what we perceive, and that then what Fabio said, just informing, offering a place to meet, offering information, also what you guys said, providing financial support, and what Zsuzsa said, also fighting this uncertainty. It was is very important, because it gives it gives grounding, really. Well, that's what we need. Okay, I'm here. There are some resources. They are my friends. They are my colleagues. I can connect, and I because from my experience, also this feeling was that everything was lost at the sudden, like all resources, which was not true. Basically, there are still quite a lot of ways what we can do, but under this impression of this fear, it was forgotten, and that kind of support was also in way how to help them find those resources. Do you? Our discussion is also about and not also healing theater, but also about healing with theater. Did you come in the past in some over to some practice where theater was helping to heal people in this time? Ilona.
Yes, I have to say that I started to think about this field I am now. It was after tsunami, when I went to Sri Lanka to work with people with post-traumatic syndrome after the tsunami, because they lost, it was the east of Sri Lanka, in the place of Batticaloa. It was on the coast, and they lost a lot of families, and they were resettled. So suddenly there were a lot of like temporary shelters on one place. Mostly the people from the families, they were like fishermen, and suddenly they lost their jobs, or they lost, if not the whole family, they lost definitely many people of their families, and suddenly they were put it into the temporary shelters, like in one huge camp. There was more than 400 families, so thousands of people. And that time, because the violence started increase, because men were drinking, they lost their sin of the lives, now what to do and how to deal with this terrible situation. So they started to drink a lot, and they started to beat their wives. And because these small shelters, they were just 1.5 meter in between, so they were very close one to each other. So if one man was beating his wife, the other 20 families could hear it, and then the other man thought, okay, maybe it's normal, we can deal with the situation like that. So it was really a very difficult situation. And that time there was one NGO from France and a French psychologist, and she used to use in her work theater as a tool for working with the people. And that time we discussed what we can do if we have 2,500 people on one small place, and we know that there is so many issues, social issues and psychological issues like that. So what we can do, because yes, we train future social workers to work with people like in a close contact, but how to do it in such a number. And then we decide, okay, let's do a theater, and maybe we can add these issues into the theater play. And so we will play the theater about it, but we will not push the people look, you will see, but we will invite the people, like, we want to entertain you a little bit, just come if you wish, and see, we will have a theater for you. So, and at the beginning, we didn't push the people to come, so we just regularly started to play theater. Of course, it was a group of like people, local people, who helped us a lot, because we didn't want to bring like European style of theater and suddenly start to do something they don't know, and it will be too far away of their culture. So we discuss it with local people and with local theater group, and I could see that this was something. It was so strong to me. That time I did it just because of feeling that I want to use theater for something, how to bring the issue close to the people. But I saw in reality how it can help. That it was like, instead of TV, because they lost also, some of them who had before TV, they lost it too. So it was something like to have at least a bit of entertainment, but they could see that these issues they were solving every day in their like families, it was on the stage. And not, I cannot say not all of them, but some of them started to think, oh, that looks terrible, that he is beating his wife. But he was not thinking, oh, but I do the same. I just don't feel it like that. So, and then step by step, once we had this like basic ground for it, we started to speak with the people like inside the, like, mostly not with the whole family, because also with culturally, how to say, it wasn't possible immediately involve all the people from the family, but we started to work step by step on these issues, and we could say like, oh, I just, what do you think about what you saw? And really, it was, to me, it was very powerful tool, how to start, how to bring the issue, even saying, look, you do the same exactly. Last time I saw your wife or whatever. So it was, and that time I started to think that it's such a strong tool to use theater for healing, or to begin with something, some changes. That afterwards, when I came back, I started to study drama therapy, because I really believe that it can be very useful and it can help. So it's 16 years now, and still this I'm keeping in my mind every day. It was very strong.
Thank you. It was really strong. It's how he, when we want, or when we want someone to change, or the first step to change even is to see what we need to change and what we could change, and theater helps us in this greatly, and not only this way. Thank you very much, Ilona.
Thank you, Ilona, for saying this, because this is like, yeah, how I always experience the magic of theater as a therapist, and I don't think there exists a more powerful tool, especially for addressing very difficult issues in groups that are not very secure, that have been ridden by conflicts, by plagues. I mean, this is the safest, often, yet the most powerful way of doing it. I mean, what I just want to say is that there's no way for theater not to be healing, because it has an built-in empathy mechanism in it. I mean, and if healing is about, if there is an necessary component, an ingredient for healing, regardless of the medicinal or spiritual practice that we choose, empathy needs to be there. And I think the thing is that becoming a part of a spectacle, whether when you play a role or when you're watching it, it kind of leaves you helpless with respect to empathy. I mean, you cannot resist to be empathetic, even if it's very difficult to resist it, yet it happens somehow by the way. I mean, once you become a part of it, you just get into the story, and it becomes healing because you cannot resist, but you become more empathetic. So so I would say that just like literature, in the same way, like theater just has a built-in mechanism for expanding and enriching our empathy muscle. Therefore, the healing is inevitable.
Thank you.
You know, we are not therapists, but we are artists, and we don't have the chance to medically heal someone psychologically or mentally, or but I think our programs help youngsters build and strengthen their communities. And I think during the lockdown, it was really important for them, uh, mm, especially kids who just haven't met yet, because of the lockdown. It was very often that we met these kind of classes. And I think when you give them the opportunity to get to know each other better, or at all, or to create stories together, because we working through friction all the time, so it's not a realist theater, I mean, ours, in this term. But I think give them this opportunity is healing in a way. And the other thing is that in Hungary, social inactivity is one of the main social issues, I think. And if you create an opportunity to do something through theater, create a story about their own problems, friction, could help them be more active, or just I think it gives them the experience that they can change something in the environment, or in the circumstances, and it's really rare in the society, I think. So I think it could be healing if they have this experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure it is. Sure it is. That's in my eyes, it's definitely healing. It is. Thank you for it.
I remember one nice story with one of our actor, when he said, when we asked him why you play theater, you are an actor and you want to do theater, he said, sometimes I am fed up of myself and I come to do theater to just release, like relax of myself, because I behave completely differently when I am in the theater and I do theater. So, and it was so strong, such his own feedback to himself, because he can be very sometimes difficult, but this is also something I will never forget, how strong it is and how he realized it, how strong it is. So this is it.
One of the most important experience of one member of Italian Center of International Theatre Institute is the coordination of theater in prison. That is an activity is very, very important, and is an excellence all over the world, because we have activities in more than 90 prisons all over in Italy, and is a very important aspect. But also during COVID, the activities was suspended, and was very clear how was terrible the impact of the suspension of these activities, because it was very clear that the opportunity of the prisoners it's very important for the activities through theater and performing activities is very, very essential for also for the process of to recover them to the sociality, and also were suspended. And also, I think that we have to consider generally what is the crisis that has created a suspension of activities, not only from the side of the artistic way, but also in the. I consider also, I strongly consider that this is an aspect essential of the artistic research of the people. It's clear that it's not enough the activities inside the official theater, and also there is a process very important that has started at least 20, 30 years ago, that is the connection with the society, connection with the concrete place of the living experiences of all the community. And also we have to consider the effect of the suspension of the lockdown as produced a very, very strong effect of suspension of this connection. And also, of course, we have to recreate this strong opportunity that we have. But also, I consider this like an aspect of the essential part of the artistic research of the community of performing arts.
Thank you, Fabio.
If I just could add something from the purely, maybe not, but yeah, but more just purely psychological perspective, which I think might be of value in the context of healing. I mean, if we try to, healing relates to suffering, and again, we can be looking for different definitions, but if we think of healing as relieving suffering, that leads us to the definition of what suffering is. From the psychological perspective, again, there might be different definitions, but one of them would be managing or facilitating. Suffering is when we struggle with an internal conflict that we cannot move beyond. And an internal conflict is basically different roles, different perspectives, different aspects of ourselves getting stuck, or like being unable to move forward. What theater primarily is a training of different roles and aspects interacting and facilitating conflicts, finding creative ways to coexist. So in that way, theater is a training in conflict facilitation that is the essence of suffering, for like at the psychological reason, when we see different roles and actors interplay and manage conflicts in creative ways. Because for me, theater is a great example of how to creatively manage a conflict. I mean, without maybe clear conclusions, but how to move beyond that. From this perspective, theater is training in healing, so avoiding or releasing suffering by facilitating inner conflicts.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great definition. I like it very much. Thank you. So, I think I don't know if there are any audience, any listeners, but now is also time for some questions from our audience. So if there is anyone listening to us, you are more than welcome to use this Q&A question. You should have button down there, and you may be able to send us some questions, and they will appear here, or maybe you can use the chat as a tool if you want, if you have some particular question on some particular speaker, or just general questions. Those are welcome. And meanwhile, we will continue. Now I don't know, guys, what is the situation in your countries, but in here it is partially getting better. It means that performers would be allowed to start some performances in a special regime, but outdoors it will be quite open, and loads of performers are really looking forward to start to perform, and they have rehearsed some plays, and but there is also probably fear if the audience will come, if because what happened was that we lost contact with our audience. We lost the continuity. So now it is everything like bit new and full of doubts and fears and so on. So my question is, what support do you think also art needs to go in this stage, in this slowly coming back to normal? What we can do to help, or how generally we can help this process of coming back to life?
I think it will still wait a little time, need a little time to that the people will come back and like the audience. I think it will not happen like that, because life's changed, and somehow I feel, but it's just my opinion, but I feel that people are a little bit more closed now, and they live in a different environment suddenly, and they were used to it, to go to the theater, to the cinema. Now when I'm listening how many people bought the tickets to cinema, and it's like out of 100 places, it's 2 tickets sold. So I think it will need some time, and I think also that what we can do, or how I think about our theater, it's maybe to start to be able to play outside, really, because it's more safe for the people to be somewhere on open places, that it will be, again, we will not push them or push on them, please come, and they will feel that they have to, because somehow we asked them to come and we invited them, but we just can like give them some time and space to feel that they can come back, and it will be one day, it will be safe for them, because it could be safe even now, but they maybe don't feel it anymore, and they need some more time. So I was thinking about us, that we have to be able to play more outside, and maybe that we should go outside now of the theater where no one is, and maybe to offer the people that now we are here, if you want to stop by, just you can stop for a while and see what's going on, and maybe I hope after summer maybe the people will go back to the theaters. But it's also the summertime which is coming, and usually the season ends, no, in some theaters even in May already, so in some middle of June. So it's difficult to restart something which usually gets to the end. So really now we are just trying to find another way what to do and how to do. But I also have the feeling that I am coming myself to the normal again, because I started to rehearse a new performance when the COVID started. And that time we started something new. I was so enthusiastic about it and so happy, and suddenly it happened and I couldn't continue anymore, because I felt somewhere else, and I couldn't catch the essence of what we did, and I couldn't do the whole more than a year, and now it's coming back, and now I feel that I can start again. Even maybe it will be a little bit different, because something happened in between, and I will postpone it somewhere to maybe a little bit differently, but now I feel that I can come back to it. So what we did in between was that we really my colleague, the director Stepan, he was rehearsing something which was connected to this period of COVID time,
Mhm.
and he wrote it during this period of time. And now he's speaking about it, and the actress also, that they want to have a premiere before summer and to move,
Mhm.
because they feel like they are stuck into this and they want to move again. So before I couldn't continue with what was before, and now I feel it, now we can start again, and then cannot move with this what was like during COVID time, because they feel slowly that it's changing and they can breathe again. So we will have one premiere before summer, and we hope we will, all of us, we will move.
Okay,
Mm.
thank you. Thank, thank,
I think this COVID thing blurred the boundaries between seasons and I don't and months and I don't know. So it's really strange in Hungary because theaters are just open now, have opened, and they they started to um, show their performances um, like it would be September. I don't know. So it's really strange, and we ourselves have to consider the school time, because we are working with classes. But otherwise, theaters are really haphazardly just do their jobs now, and it's really funny in a way. But I think it's really understandable because they were rehearsing during the lockdown several pieces, so they just want to show them to the audience.
thank you. I agree also with Ilona that there is it would be good to be patient for artists, because when we have rehearsed something for a long time and we are really looking forward to show it, and now we are hoping for people to come up, it's very fragile. And well, if the people wouldn't come, it may be very hurtful for artists, because they may see it that they do not, they are not interesting enough to or their play or their message is not interesting enough to bring the people. But it's maybe it's not that, maybe it's that the change is really, as Ilona said, in the people in general. And so it would be very wise to support support artists in patience, and also in this proactive approach, not to sit in a theater waiting, but bring it outside, make it available, make it happen. Don't wait for people to come up, or at least don't rely on it 100%. So if this somehow would happen again, I don't really wish it would, but if let's say again in September the numbers would start to become bad, and all this thing will come back, could how can we do something different to be prepared, or what the artist can do, what our institution as Department for Theaters and other institutions like this, helping artists can do to help it to be better prepared for next time.
I would start from something that may be banal in a way, but I would say that we are already better prepared. I think the training that we've received throughout the last months, I mean, has already equipped us with a lot of tools, in the sense like digital tools, and also, I mean, in this sense, it turns out that some of the events related, some of the conferences and meetings and discussions related to the theater field may well be held online, and I think it's actually even somehow more sustainable. So I think this has already become a reality. So we already know something more, and again, this factor of complete and total surprise this will not surprise us in the same way. So this aspect of insecurity, of anxiety that we faced throughout the first lockdown, which was unprecedented, I think, for all of us, I guess, this was an unprecedented event, and we were absolutely not sure of how also medically the disease will proceed. So I think realizing the fact that we've already received some training, we have the tools, we also are more equipped in the medical sense of handling the disease in itself. I think that changes a lot. And I like to remember about that, that it's already like and maybe it's sometimes hard to, and I think this is important to make these moments of stopping and realizing this, because sometimes I think that when we're in a moment of crisis and we're just busy, dealing with it and fighting, we tend to forget, and we underestimate the skills that we acquired throughout this. So this is my I'm probably also saying this because saying this out loud because I want to remember it myself, but I think this is an important piece of an important message that we need to be repeating to ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it's.
And I would say what is also different is that we all know that it can happen, because before we were not prepared. We have never went through, or most of the people, or in, for example, our country. So now we know that it can happen, and we should be aware of it. And we know that maybe one day we have to just change what we do, because the situation will be like that. And maybe that's the challenge, that we just should be more open what we do. And difficult to say. It will never be the same, but we never can say what we will do, because we don't know in what condition we will be that time, the other time, and what will be all the other circumstances. So difficult to say.
I would like to say something connected also with the general topic of this meeting. That is there is a characteristic of the performing arts that is connected to taking care to the community, working with the quality of the connection of the human experiences and so on. And also we have to consider for the Italian experience, there is some aspects very terrible, because the school were closed for 1 year completely. Quite also school at university were not in presence for no one, and also the effect is very terrible with for the teenagers and so on. Very, very terrible experience. And also this has created a dimension of fear that became scare, a frightened dimension of the experience of the connection, interpersonal connection, and so on. This is a very important aspect to consider. If something similar will happen, also we have to consider that it's not possible to face this aspect only from one point of view of emergency, one point of view of a crisis of the hospital, but also we have to consider what is the social dimension of emergency, of the connection. And also, I'm very convinced that the cultural activities is the tool that we have in our hand to take care with the quality of the health, of healing of the persons that are present in a very complex society. For example, the paradox, the football activities has continued in a certain way, but was not possible for the performances to continue. And also we have found very, very hardly to find a dimension of, like I've said before, with the online and with the streaming performances, but was not easy to do this because was not allowed to do in a certain way for a certain period. But also I think that the social effects for the young generation mainly, it's very terrible, and we have to organize something that can give the opportunity to take care to the dimension of the soul, of the psychic experience of everyone, of the dimension of the connection, of to share experience together.
Thank you, Fabio. Yeah, I really have to support what you say, because especially this this spring, I've really felt that there was a huge effect, negative effect on youngsters. Last spring, when there was first a wave of lockdown, it was not so bad because it was somehow new, it was somehow adventurous. Skipping of school for a couple of weeks at the beginning was kind of welcome, but this year was completely different, and a lot of young people were suffering depressions, anxieties, because in puberty, our identity is creating in contact with peers. Peers are much more becoming much more relevant than our parents or adults, and at the sudden it was impossible to meet peers, be with them, or be with them in active way, bodily be with them. This tools just were not enough, and I really felt that all my colleagues who were working with the youngsters were completely occupied and full because of this. And here I agree that theater can be a great tool because it brings together, as you said. Thank you.
Actually, I don't really want to be prepared. I don't really want this situation again. But it's useful that we learned how to document our work for using if we want. I mean, filmed and documentaries and these kind of things, and it was useful to change our live work to offline work, and thinking about and planning this kind of new programs. But I don't really want to do that, never again.
Let's hope we will not have to. Yeah. All right. we are, I think, covered most of the topic I have prepared, but and there are not many questions coming from audience. Actually, none. But I'd like to ask you if you can send the artist some message. If you would say something to artist, what it would be.
I have two stories, but it was really brief. So it was in the same class, I think, that one of the kids told us that she was very shy and not too confident, but she would burst a revolution if they had to be in lockdown again. So it is really strange for me, but understandable. And in the same class, there was a guy who just didn't use his camera, and I asked them to do that. And he turned on his camera, and he was driving a huge agricultural machine. I didn't know what was it, but he was driving, and he was cultivating or something like that, and he told us he always did it during the online lessons as well. So I think there are different kinds of people, and I think we can find our audience. We should.
Thank you very much.
It's not easy to, because I think that is our practice, the first invitation for everyone, and also of course we have to resist like many other times, but also especially in this moment we have to resist. And also I would like to come one more again in Czech Republic and so on, and also we will be very happy to host you in South Italy. In this moment, the spring, summer is quite started, and also is the best season here. And also, of course, to celebrate practicing theater is the best way. So continue, please.
Thank you, Fabio. Thank you very much. Let's hope it happens and we will meet in person.
Yeah, I just would like to thank to all the people who do art and who do theater and paint and dance and sing, because we cannot live without it. We need it so much. So I just think, yeah, maybe it should be for a couple of months, or maybe for some periods of time, that some of the people of the artists will take another way, and for a while they will do something else, but still I hope that they will come the way back to find their place again, to do art and theater and whatever other, because we need it. And I also believe strongly that the audience will come back one day, but we have to be patient, as you said. But I have to say myself that I was offered to do something for Czech Philharmonic, and when for the first time I entered there because of my partly job in January, and suddenly I was surrounded by classical music, and everywhere was locked down and all the people were sitting at home, and I was suddenly in such a beautiful building as Rudolfinum is, and I was listening for a couple of hours because they had rehearsals for classical music, and I felt, oh Jesus, I miss that. I miss it so much, and I need it. And it was the moment of realization for myself that, yes, this is it. And I am already 5 months there, and I still, anytime I come and someone is just playing their instrument and it's rehearsing, I am like, yes, I need it. I need it as a listener. I need these people because I need to listen to it. And I could see that we were streaming our concerts because it couldn't be played for public, and all these reactions through Facebook, for example, or YouTube from all over the world. Okay, now we are sitting in the living room, but we dressed us up, and we took a glass of wine, and we try to imagine that we are really in this hall and we are listening to this classical music in live, in person. It's so we will now imagine, and one day we will come. So I think that it will come back, and we need all these kind of arts. It's so beautiful. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
My message would probably also be pretty personal, because I'm actually myself awaiting the first theater experience that I'm going to have in months, this upcoming Sunday. And I can't remember the last time I was so excited. And it's just the excitement, the sense of, oh, this is really going to be something special. I think that what I'm noticing is that before the pandemic, I visited theaters and operas and different types of performances so often that I kind of almost lost the sense of how unique and special it was. And I think that my experience is that I'm getting to appreciate it even more. And what I wish to the artists is that they get to experience how the people get to appreciate it, and how, we watched movies, we watched streamings, we could have all the different forms of culture online, and this was important, and I do appreciate it. But I think that the uniqueness of the live encounter and the uniqueness of the one-off event that, for example, a theater play is something that can just not be replaced. And I'm just happy for myself to have the chance to be able to experience it again. And I have a refreshed sense of appreciation. And my sort of dream, the beautiful dream would be that there is some kind of an intensified sense of appreciation of this ephemeral form of encounter related to theater. And maybe this is what I wish to the artists. And I hope that that by this, I mean, they also receive something unique back.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, I do believe that there is something like thirst for art now, because we have been deprived for so long time that even some of us, as you said, has developed some kind of addiction. So, but now the new shot will be really something. After this abstinence, it will be really like to be in rain for a really long time, and feel. I hope that we and audience will really feel this magical effect. And also my message to artists will be that you matter, that what you do matter, art matters. And it's even if it went through hard times, and maybe it will still go through hard times, it really matters. And it stays it cannot be killed. It cannot be suffocated, and it cannot die. There still will be kind of arts, and this healing really happens, and its effect. It was obvious today from our discussions, and I really want to thank all of you for participating on it and sharing your great experiences. And it was a pleasure for me to meet you all. And I hope we will have an opportunity to meet in live and have a glass of wine together and talk more and more about our love for art and about our experience with it. So thank you very much. I hope you all stay healthy and that you will blossom as the art will at least for some time now. Thank you very much. It's great to meet you, and
Thank you too.
take
Thank
care.
You too. Yes.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.
Bye.
Thank you for hosting it. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
Martin.